Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about yet another SJW takeover in gaming. This time it's the studio Naughty Dog, who's been injecting feminism and displacing male characters in its games a lot lately. You've all probably heard about that gay lesbian kiss they shared at E3 this year, but for those who don't know, E3 is a big gaming conference held every summer. It's where all the biggest video game makers make announcements and share trailers for their new games. And this year, since it's 2018, current year, Naughty Dog decided to introduce everyone to The Last of Us 2 by throwing a big fat girl-on-girl kiss right in our faces, for no goddamn reason. Now, that's not to say there's anything wrong with that, but couldn't they at least get some hotties involved here? Maybe the Last of Us girl is cute, but damn, did you see her girlfriend? Woof. Just woof. Regardless, this is only the tip of the iceberg apparently. Naughty Dog has been going full social justice warrior behind the scenes for a while now. So today we're going to go over that E3 trailer, and we're going to backtrack a little bit and find out when this leftist, feminist takeover of Naughty Dog really started. This is the studio that brought us classics like the Uncharted series and Crash Bandicoot after all, but unfortunately, it may be on its way out soon. So today, we're going to go over why and hash out all the details real soon. But first, let's take a moment to meet our brand spanking new sponsor, GTS Decentralized Exchange Group, which lets anyone own and operate their own digital exchange, quickly and easily, with no programming either. Just like how you don't need to know programming to have your own website or online store, now you can just as easily have your own digital exchange. Pretty cool, huh? And your exchange can trade whatever you want, whether it's traditional cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum and so on, or an exchange for actual currencies like US dollars, euros, Japanese yen, or your local national currency. Or you can even get more creative and have an exchange for trading Star Wars memorabilia, or racehorses, or silk fabrics, or real estate. Whatever you could come up with, you can tokenize and turn into your own unique exchange with GTS. Just use your own creativity and the possibilities are endless. So join the GTS Telegram channel by clicking the link on the screen now to find out more. And if you don't have the Telegram messaging app, there's a link for that below as well. Sign up for a free account today. Telegram is the premier messaging app for the tech world, so getting one up and running is ideal, and it will easily get you in contact with GTS so you can run your own digital exchange starting now. Thanks for your time, and now back to the show. Okay, let's start off discussing Naughty Dog's SJW agenda in gaming by turning back to that lesbian kiss we saw at E3, which, again, to be clear, I of course have no problem with lesbians or kissing, but it does seem a little odd and in your face, doesn't it? This is the kind of cutscene you save for the game, I think. It would have been a nice surprise in a flashback or something, but Naughty Dog chose to trot out their lesbian agenda front and center for all of E3 and the world to see. This is essentially them virtue signaling, saying, hey, we're Naughty Dog and we love the gays. Now, this might seem a little presumptuous based off of this one event, but there's actually a lot more to it. First of all, Naughty Dog is based in Santa Monica for starters, and we all know how Los Angeles and California are some of the most left-wing SJW places in the country. So from that alone and seeing this kiss, this lesbian agenda shouldn't be that surprising. Next, let's talk about the company fantasizing about lesbians in their games before. Last year, Naughty Dog released Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which was the first Uncharted game to not feature its signature hero, Nathan Drake. Instead, we saw two of the girls' side characters going off on their own adventure. And while there was no romance or kissing cutscenes in this one that I know about, I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog really wished there was. I mean, Naughty Dog themselves tweeted this fan drawing of the characters under a mistletoe last Christmas. And traditionally, of course, when you're under a mistletoe, you're supposed to kiss. And here's yet another tweet from a Naughty Dog employee who has shipped the characters into the combined name Claudine, something usually done when fans imagine their favorite characters are in a relationship. And I gotta say here, this really reminds me of that Yowie episode of South Park, the one where all the girls fantasize that Tweek and Craig are in a gay relationship. They drew pictures and shipped their names too, just like how the Naughty Dog staff is doing with their own characters. Except, of course, there is one difference. South Park was making fun of this. Naughty Dog, on the other hand, are a bunch of grown men who are actually doing it, unironically. And I would say this gay little girl Yowie Naughty Dog made for their Uncharted cast, this was the precursor to them going full-on lesbian with The Last of Us 2 this summer. But pushing a lesbian agenda isn't quite SJW enough for Naughty Dog, so they have also decided to push out their male lead characters whenever they can. Like how I just mentioned with the Uncharted: The Lost Legacy expansion, which was the first Uncharted thing to not have Nathan Drake. But that's not that bad. He's had 4 games and other DLCs too after all. We've seen plenty of Drake, so one could argue that the all-girl Lost Legacy expansion was a welcome change-up from the normal formula. But it is a little telling too, and it looks like this was another sign of what's to come for Naughty Dog games. Because much like how Drake was pushed out of his own game in that last expansion, soon, so too has the main character in The Last of Us been pushed out, in order to favor and focus on the lesbian girl character, who looks like Juno by the way. Granted, the two characters in The Last of Us are both pretty main and almost equal, but I would also argue Joel is a much bigger main character, and he's more well liked. Joel starts off the story in the original game, and he really carries it if you ask me. But Naughty Dog appears to be pushing Joel to the side here. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I don't know if he's going to show up for some or part of The Last of Us 2, but it's really starting to look like the girl character Ellie is going to take over. Next, let's talk about Uncharted again. One more time before we move on because, well, it looks like Naughty Dog is setting that franchise up to be taken over by girls too. They made it pretty clear that the Uncharted franchise has all but come to an end, with that girl-led Lost Legacy expansion I mentioned being possibly the last entry. But just in case, Naughty Dog has also set up Nathan Drake's kid as a possible candidate to take over the franchise if they decide to start a new series or reboot it or something. And guess what gender Drake's daughter is? Oh wait, whoops. I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, Drake has a girl kid who may or may not be taking over the series. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if this girl turned out to be a lesbian too. Nothing would surprise me at this point. Speaking of lesbians, let's talk about The Last of Us 2 again, because not only did they have an over-the-top lesbian kiss right in the forefront of their E3 presentation, they also had a bull-dyke lesbian YouTuber hosting their game's discussion panel at the PSX conference last December. Mamrie was the guest host, and her lack of knowledge about Naughty Dog games and gaming in general was pretty laughable. It was painfully obvious that the only reason they have her hosting here is because she's a lesbian and Naughty Dog is virtue signaling to the max.
Oh yeah, oh my God. I assume, has everyone in this room seen that trailer? It is a visceral, violent, continual scene that I actually think we should watch right now. One more time. Let's do it. Yeah. That's my cue.
But this PSX panel gets even worse and more cringy, believe it or not. Later on, they bring out the new actor playing Lev in the game. His name's Ian, and he was handpicked by Naughty Dog because, guess what? He's trans, guys. Not kidding. And he's not just some chill, average, happy to be working trans kid. This dude has some real troubling, disturbing stuff on his Twitter, if you care to check it out sometime. Here's just one example that reads, "Stop gassing up white boys with no talent. Wow. Anti-white racism, trans activism, lesbians, and pushing out males." Naughty Dog could be going for the SJW trifecta, or maybe even the quad or cincofecta. Whatever you call it, Naughty Dog is hitting all the right notes here. Well, all the right notes if you want to be an SJW racist piece of shit company, which is very likely going to start turning off its fans very soon. Oh, and it looks like our boy, Ian, is also a money grubber online too. Another typical SJW trait. But instead of just plugging his PayPal link for donations, Ian has at least come up with some merch and art he tries to sell. Some of it's pretty bad, but I have to show you guys this tweet, which shows Ian, the new actor handpicked by Naughty Dog for The Last of Us, and look at this. He's shilling pronoun pins on Twitter. $10 a pop too. And he's even promising to give 20% of the proceeds to Planned Parenthood. Nothing like funding abortions with the money you made selling pronoun pins. God, I love America, but sometimes I hate it for shit like this. But really, these are the kinds of new faces Naughty Dog is bringing into its beloved franchise. Transgenders, lesbians, and anyone who hates white people, while also loving abortions and baby killing. Wow, Naughty Dog. Just wow. Last, let's talk about the final nail in the coffin for Naughty Dog. For me, it was when I found out their director and the higher-ups there, they all support and sing praises to Anita Sarkeesian. That's right, the most reviled, terrible person on the internet, Anita fucking Sarkeesian. Not only has the Naughty Dog staff said they support her, and they think what she's doing is good for gaming, they also gave her a goddamn award. For what though? Being the best at trying to ruin all our fun? Let's face it, guys. If you hadn't heard, Anita Sarkeesian is a fake, phony liar who pretends to be helping women and trying to stop supposed sexism in gaming. But really, she just wants to complain about girl characters looking too sexy, while shilling and making money off of stupid feminists who donate to her Patreon. Anita is a hack fraud. She's a gaming outsider who's trying to invade and infiltrate and take over another male space. All the while she's under the guise of charity or pretending to do the right thing, when Anita is actually just an opportunist trying to make money here. She has been nothing but a negative force in gaming and the world, and yet Naughty Dog supports and follows her, and probably takes notes from her bullshit presentations. I even found an article here from Kotaku, in which the director of Uncharted admits he's been influenced by Sarkeesian's feminist frequency videos so much, it's affected the Uncharted 4 game. Here Druckmann says, "When I'm introducing and describing a new character to our lead character concept artist, constantly she will ask, what if it was a girl? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me think. Does that affect or change anything? No? Cool. That's different. Yeah, let's do it." Initially in the epilogue it was Nate's son. Something similar happened with the mansion they go into. That was an old English guy's house. She asked, well, what if it was a woman? You have some sexist focus testers who are really upset by Nadine being beating up Nate, and really upset at the end when it was Nate's daughter, to the point where we had to ask one guy to leave. In his core, it just affected him. He was cursing, "Not you too, Naughty Dog, god damn it. I guess I'm done with Uncharted. If you guys ever make another one with his daughter, this fucking bullshit." And I was like, wow, why does it matter? Jesus Christ, Naughty Dog. You've really become cucked here. And I actually think that guy from the focus group was onto something. This is bullshit. And I can't believe they even had Drake's kid as a son initially. And then they decided to change it to a girl because it's different in PC and SJW. What a goddamn joke. In the end, I think Naughty Dog's SJW agenda in gaming is pretty clear by now. They've overpushed women, pushed out men, and even brought in all the lesbians and trans actors they could find. I mean, think about it. Did Naughty Dog really need to show that lesbian kiss at E3? Because I think it was highly unnecessary and kind of off-putting. It has nothing to do with anything. All they're trying to do is virtue signal once again. And while there's only been some mild backlash about it so far, I think once the game comes out and more people get turned on to this whole SJW agenda, Naughty Dog's days could be numbered soon. And there's already plenty of criticism about them popping up out there. I specifically recommend you guys check out the Robin Gaming video about this topic. I put the link below, and that guy really opened my eyes to a lot of this BS behind the Naughty Dog company. And Robin is a much bigger Naughty Dog fan than me too, so I recommend you guys check out his take on this story as well. Before we go though, there is one last tweet from a Naughty Dog employee I wanted to check out. It looks like the criticism of their SJW agenda out there is not being taken so well. Boone Cotter here went on a full-on tirade after he heard about it, saying, "If you're so socially and culturally inept that the option to play a video game as a female gets you all worked up into frothy nerd rage, my name is Boone. I make games, but not for people like you. Your kind is done, mate. Do everyone a favor and fuck off. You're embarrassing." Looks like the Naughty Dog employees are taking a page out of the Battlefield 5 and Star Wars controversies. Both of those media empires have been getting backlash for the SJW agendas, and they've also decided to lash out and hate on their fans for it too. And it looks like Naughty Dog is going to do the same. They're going down the same dark road, and I don't think it's going to end well for them either. Attacking your fans for not accepting your left-wing, degenerate propaganda is never a good look. What do you guys think? Is Naughty Dog's SJW agenda more apparent now? Why do they keep putting lesbians into everything? And do you think these games are going to suffer and not sell because of it? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.